Greetings, young scholars. You look at me funny. Do you doubt that it's me, Mr. Collinstall, speaking to you from the friendly confines of my basement? Why do you look at me so funny? Do you not believe what you see? Today's theme is evidence of photos and videos. Can we believe what we see? And on that note, let's get to work.
Wow. That was scary. That scared me, young scholars, just so you know. But is it as scary as this photograph, which, as you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, was taken on 9/11? Now, how horrific is that? Because you know what happened next. It wasn't good. The only problem with the photo is that it's not true. It was photoshopped. But I remember when that photo was first released on the internet, and people freaked. People were like, oh my gosh, how is this possible? Well, it wasn't possible for a lot of reasons. One is it was a really hot day that day. He's wearing a winter coat. Number two, if it had happened, how would we possibly collect the footage or the film or the image when the entire building went up in flames and collapsed? The camera would never have survived. So there was lots of reasons to figure out, oh, that's not real. But that's what our theme is today. What is the evidence of a photo and a video? Can we believe what we see? And how do we determine if we should believe what we see? There's ways to do that. So today's must-do: Reading Jot, Edpuzzle, this video right here, and John Green's Evaluating Photos and Videos. You also, which is really critical, need to give feedback to 5 peers on their latest essay for the COVID-19 project, where you wrote about your experiences of getting a taste of what it feels like to be an adult. Suddenly you have some freedom. And what have you done with that freedom? Must show. Reading Jot. And if you don't complete your Reading Jot, then I have to mark you absent. That's the way it's working. Then I need to see your results and today's expectations for this video. Then I need to see your results for the John Green video. And then I need to see that you not only wrote a paragraph for No Red Ink that was due on Friday, but you also gave feedback to 5 of your fellow young authors. Here's the link to the Reading Jot video you'll watch on Edpuzzle with our good friend John Green. And then I want to share some of what some of you wrote. And I think there's some good examples, and then there's some examples that we can learn from. So this student wrote, the claim is those poor folks who work in surgery all day. So if you remember, we had Angela, whoever she is, who put out a post about wearing masks can kill you. And it was interesting because just today I was talking to one of my colleagues, one of my fellow teachers, and I was telling her about this project you guys are working on. And she said, I've seen that post. I've had 3 friends, she said, send that post to me. 3 adults who believed it. So with that being said, here's what one of you wrote. The claim is those poor folks who work in surgery all day. Why does she think that doctors rewear masks for surgery? Don't each time that a person needs surgery, they need a new mask? I know this because doctors aren't supposed to rewear a mask into surgery since that mask may have blood on the mask. Okay, now, all that you were asked here is, what was the claim? The claim was those poor folks who work in surgery all day. Now, this one was a little different in that was the claim, but what can you infer to its meaning? And what this student did is went off on a tangent and went off the 4 corners and started talking about, doctors aren't supposed to rewear masks, especially if they have blood on them. It's more than blood, but okay. But that wasn't the issue here. So in this situation, and this is what you're going to be doing, in fact, this is what you're going to be doing on Wednesday, is you're going to have to start inferring what people mean. You're going to have to start reading between the lines. So when this person responded to Angela and said, those poor folks who work in surgery all day, I could infer that this person is saying, Angela, you are right. Even though you have no evidence, I believe you. That's what I infer from this comment, giving sympathy to people that have to wear masks because they may die from protecting themselves and their patients. You're going to have to look very closely on this one. So I wrote in the Ed Puzzle, in the old days when Mr. Caldstall was working hard not to step on dinosaur turds, for a piece to be published, it had to be fact-checked, even if it was a letter to the editor. And that's a true story. Why is it a problem that those, I think that word is rules, do not exist on Twitter or Facebook or for some websites? Okay. So the question is, why is it a problem that they don't fact-check things on Twitter? They don't fact-check things on Facebook or on websites for that matter. And this student wrote IDK. Now, some of you may not have known this, but when you're working in my class, even if it's from home, this is your English class. And we write in complete sentences. In fact, we write complete words. The abbreviations are okay if you're talking about, say, the FBI or MAD, Mothers Against Drunk Driving. But in this situation, completely inappropriate. That is not okay. That is not going to make you a better author. Moving on. This student wrote, Dave Grooms state that she should get off the internet and go to her room. That was the claim. So what I want you to add, and you'll have time to revise today, what did he mean by that? What did Dave Grooms mean? Grooms, by the way, should be capitalized. That's his name. When she should get off the internet and go to her room. So I want you to add that piece to it.
What is your problem? Just leave me alone.
Sir, reporting high levels of sass.
Take it to DEFCON 2.
You heard that, gentlemen? DEFCON 2.
Listen, young lady, I don't know where this disrespectful attitude came from.
You want a piece of this, Pops? Come and get it!
Yeah, well...
Here it comes. Prepare the foot.
Keys to safety position. Ready to launch on your command, sir.
Just shut up!
Fire! That's it. Go to your room. Now.
Foot is down. The foot is down.
Good job, gentlemen. That could have been a disaster.
Here's another one. The author does not cite any sources other than the picture, which John Green told us to stay away from. Love that. That's perfect. You are now smarter than all of those adults. Here's another student. Looking back at all the comments on this post, section C of the comment was the only section laterally read. Oh, you have no idea how much joy that brings me. You guys have learned what all of these adults have not learned. However, they didn't stick to the four corners of the post. Sets A and B of the comments simply just believed what they read and moved on with their lives instead of taking the time to think about it. Section C took the time to think about it, but used resources that were not in the four corners to figure out whether this was false or not. In the comment section C, Valentino Herrera had jumped to a more credible source to figure out whether this source was credible or not, and then came back and posted that source in the comment section. Yep, that's exactly what Valentino did. Now, I want to point out again why I'm having you stick to the four corners. Because in our final project, you will be going outside of the four corners, and you will be doing lateral reading. But first, I wanted you to really analyze, what is the claim? I didn't want you to jump to the conclusion, is it false, is it true? I wanted you to think, what is the claim and what is the evidence? And Valentino did exactly that. He looked at the claim, he looked at the evidence, and then he laterally read and found a credible source and came back and said, here's something to think about. So I want you to give feedback to 5 of your classmates. Then once you have your feedback, I want you to revise your COVID-19 paragraph. And that's the expectation. Feedback 5 fellow young authors, and that is due today. When you are done with that, you should go back and revise your piece. We're going to start talking next week about your final project. I want you to start thinking of some ideas. I'm going to give you some posts from Facebook, maybe some posts from Twitter, and then you are going to put together a presentation showing us, here's the post, here's the claim, here's the evidence, and here's the reality. Is it true? How do you know it's not true? What sources did you use to come to your conclusion? I hope everybody's well, and I hope you have a great Memorial Day weekend. I hope to talk to you very soon.